Are you a little bit competitive? Yeah, so am I. Late starter, if you thought it's too late to compete in athletic events, you need to tune in to today's episode with my friend Jenny Neale. She started competing in athletic events in her 40s and winning. She's awesome. Tune in to her great tips in today's episode. Hello, dreamers. Welcome to the Late Starters Club, giving you the inspiration, mindset, and tools you need to start something midlife and beyond. Remember, it's never too late to follow your dreams. Late Starters, it's your host, Andrea Vall, and I am joined by the fabulous and super strong Jenny Neale. She has been a longtime friend of mine as far as like a workout buddy, and I didn't even know that you were a botanist until like recently.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But Jenny's here to talk about getting started with competitions later in life, and we'll dive into all that. But welcome, Jenny.
Thanks for having me, Andrea.
I know, super fun to get to do this because
Yeah.
we work out in the mornings together and on whatever on weekends. And now it's fun to see you with a regular
Yeah.
shirt on.
I know. I was like, we're in regular everyday
Right.
clothes.
I know. So, well, Jenny is so inspiring. We competed together at the Camp Gladiator Games, and that's how I first started getting connected with Jenny is through that training and through that competition. But she is just crushing it. She got second this year in her age group of the 40 to 49-year olds
Yep.
and has also competed at DECA and any other events, or is it those
No,
the
it's just been CG Games and then DECA Fit
okay,
this last
DECA
year.
Fit,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started with this whole endeavor. I know we had talked and you did soccer before, but this competition type stuff, individual competitions has been new for you, and
Yeah. Yeah. As you just mentioned, I am a lifelong soccer player. I grew up playing competitively. I actually played Division 3 in college. And then when I came back and was doing graduate school at CU Boulder, was playing on some fairly high level teams for a while, got married, had kids, was still playing as much as I could. And it got to the point where there were fewer and fewer opportunities to play because there were just fewer women's teams, women's leagues. The indoor leagues were getting further away from my house. Games are as late as 11 p.m., which makes it
mm.
really hard to get up and get to work on time the next morning. And I just got to the point where I wasn't playing very much soccer. And I know myself well enough to know I needed to do something to move my body to keep myself sane. Really, it's sanity. And interestingly, my husband and I had coached our two daughters in their soccer, and they had practice at a local park. And I'd be the one helping run all the girls to the bathroom. And when we'd be going to the bathroom at the park, I saw this Camp Gladiator, and I'm like, that looks like something I would like. I'd done a like sports conditioning class at some point in grad school and really liked the diverse station kind of work where you're doing a little bit of weights. And so a friend of ours was doing Camp Gladiator, and he said to me, you know what? I think you would really like this. Here's a code. Check it out. So I first signed up in July of 2018. In July is actually when the preliminary competition happens for CG Games. So I joined as that was happening, had no idea what it was, had no idea what was going on. Lots of people were pretty excited about it who were competing. And I thought, oh, that sounds intimidating and fun at the same time. And just really ended up enjoying Camp Gladiator and did it through the fall of 2018. There was actually a couple places where the park was the same place and time as my daughter's soccer practice. It
Mm,
made it easy. And then I started realizing I wanted to do it more. Like I
mhm.
was really enjoying it. I was loving the community. It was in November of 2018 that I realized if I want to spend more time doing this, I'm going to have to switch to the morning.
Mm,
Always been an evening workout person, having
mhm.
practice after school, after work, whatever. So the idea of switching to a morning workout class was super intimidating. But the classes were indoor at that time of year, and they're
Mhm.
about 5 minutes from my house. And I thought, "I think I can do this." And so I talked to my husband about it. He agreed he would be willing to shift his schedule a bit as well. So honestly, that was really the only thing that made it feasible. I couldn't go to bed 90 minutes before him and expect to make it work. So I was like, let's give it 4 weeks of me trying. And I started off going to the 6 a.m. class for only a couple days, and I saw all the people down at the 5:15 a.m. class because we were in two opposite ends of the same facility. And I thought,
Yeah.
wow, those people are like really strong, they're really fast, and that's actually really the time I should do it in order to get to work on time. And
Uh-huh.
so after a week, I started going to the 5:15 a.m. class, and some of them pretty quickly started saying, "Hey, have you ever heard of CG Games? You seem like
Uh-huh.
you might be a good athlete. Maybe you should
Uh-huh.
come and try that." And just brought me into the community that they had.
Yeah.
And so it was through that I started pairing up with them at workouts and realizing, oh, this is so fun. It's competitive, but it's really positive and encouraging. And so they started doing some individual, like extra training sessions for prelims for 2019. I'm like, sure, I'll participate. And they were forming teams and they're like, "Were you going to compete as an individual or a team?" I'm like, I guess as an individual because I don't really know anybody. I didn't know
Yeah.
anyone when I started. Our
Right.
friend was going to a different time and place. And so I was like, I guess as an individual, like that sounds really scary, but I don't really know anyone.
Yeah.
So prelims 2019 was the first time I really stepped into a competition as an individual.
Yeah.
So that was really intimidating, and it was one big long course, whereas previously it had been multiple events. And I can't remember exactly where I finished in the state, but I qualified for finals, as did a bunch of the folks in that community, and they all were in. They're going to finals. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to Texas and compete. Sure. And Julie had won it in 2018 as an individual in the forties, and she was
Uh-huh.
part of that group. And so I could latch on to Julie and say, okay, Julie's going. I'll be competing with Julie, against Julie, but with Julie. So that'd be fun. Like she'll take me under her wing and I'll go along with her. And so I signed up for finals and I've been hooked ever since. And
Yeah.
so doing all the CG Games stuff the last couple years, and then when DecaFit came up, we were actually supposed to do it in March of 2020 at the Broncos Training Center. It obviously
Yeah.
got canceled because of
Yeah.
COVID, and it got postponed, and then last year, a whole bunch of us got an email saying, "Hey, because you'd signed up for 2020, we'd never gotten a refund." They said, um, "You're welcome to just come and do it in 2022. You don't have to pay any registration fees." So we said, "Okay, great. Let's do it." So several of us went and did it, and I finished 3rd in my age group, which shocked me because I was
Yeah.
very intimidated by what the whole thing was, and I'm like, "Wow, like, that's cool." And then following it on social media, realized like, "Oh, there's a world championships in the fall. It's the week after CG Games finals, like, I'll be pretty fit at that point. If I actually qualify, maybe I should go." And then in August, I got the invite. I was 11th in my age group, and I'm like, I think I wanna go, and a bunch of our
Mhm.
friends, "We'll come with you even if we don't qualify."
Yeah.
And so I went to that, and actually 4 of us went, 3 of us competed, and that was super fun, and I finished 3rd in my age group there, and I'm like, "All right,
Third.
this is pretty exciting."
And I just wanna make sure everyone understands this is worlds. This is like 3rd in her age group. We're talking to like 3rd in the age group in the world for DecaFit. And I do get that, yes, not every country is
Yeah, yeah.
represented,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a big deal. It's awesome. I think it's
Well, and
so
even with
inspiring.
CG Games, like, it's huge in Texas, right? There's
Yeah.
thousands of people in my age group
Mhm.
competing. So I competed in 2019. Julie won it again. I finished
Mhm.
3rd. 2020, they went to a virtual competition. And did you do the virtual
I
prelims?
didn't know.
Okay. So they had sent out all these virtual events and they were actually super fun. I liked those. You had to do them on your own and submit your times or your scores. And I qualified for finals through that. And then I won that event in 2020 virtually,
Mm.
competed in 2021, won that, competed this year. And there was a new woman. I knew
Yeah.
she was coming who
Yeah.
had just
I
turned
knew she was
40.
coming.
I
Yeah.
knew she was coming who had just turned 40. And I
Yeah.
finished second to her this year. So,
Yeah. So super awesome. First, second, way up there on the podium. That's so great. I just love how you train. You're just so dedicated and focused and all that stuff.
mhm,
Awesome. It's cool that obviously you were athletic, but you hadn't done this type of stuff before. This was all pretty
no.
new.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It was all
that's
very new. I had never really lifted weights, like high school weightlifting. As a college
Right.
athlete, we did a little bit of strength training, but honestly, not that much.
Yeah.
I've never been great at making myself go running. I do
Mm.
much better when I have community or a team around. Never really been a consistent runner. So yeah, the whole concept of CG games where it's running that involves sprinting and weightlifting
Mhm.
and jumping and just lots of movements. The majority of them were very new to me. My
Right.
first couple camps, I had to go buy a yoga mat because I didn't own one. I had to go
Mhm.
buy weights because we didn't have
Mhm.
any. But I started with 8 pounds because I was like, that feels really heavy. I had no
Yeah.
idea. And just through consistency and replication and the repetition and just the support of the trainers, I've gradually increased the amount of weight that I can do dumbbells over
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's huge because I think that is the scary thing, like, you've never done it before, but now, you're doing awesome, and that's the thing is it's just the repetition and encouragement and the also sucks you in, I think, a little bit, like
Yes. Yeah.
like, that keeps me super accountable to going to these things that I remember I was sort of similar to you with the whole, like, "Oh, prelims. Oh, sure, I'll give that a
Right.
try," and then all of a sudden it's, ooh, you're getting swept up and going to finals, and it's fun, so I think that's the big thing is that it's fun with a group, and
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's a community that's very open and welcoming of everybody. And it's like, oh, you've qualified? Awesome. Come train
yeah,
with us. Or even before people qualify and they're intimidated about the prelims course, like we study it, we review it. Some
yeah,
people in our community study it very closely. We hash through all the little details so that then we can bring other folks in and help
right,
them to have more confidence when they're approaching this because it is intimidating. The
right,
first time I read any of these events, I'm like,
yeah,
wow, that's a lot of overhead weights, or
yeah,
that's really heavy. And then you get out there and you do it once and it feels probably terrible the first time you practice. And then you just do the repetition and it gets
right,
easier and you get more comfortable with it and you gain more confidence.
mm,
So I have found DecaFit was super intimidating. There's some pretty heavy weights in there for me in
yeah,
particular. I'm a very petite person
yeah,
and there's no scaling of the weights. So it's a 100-meter farmer's carry with a 40-pound dumbbell in each hand.
right.
And at first I was like, I don't even know if I can pick up a 40-pound dumbbell in each hand. And then fortunately I had access to 40-pound dumbbells and could start practicing. Now I can knock out the 100 meters in 45 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm like
you
practically running with them.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And for those of you who are I know a lot of people are listening on the podcast and also on YouTube, but on the blog post that we're gonna have with this, we're gonna put some really badass pictures of Jennifer because she is like this she's tiny and she is just crushes it. She
Well, thank you.
you're
I
just
appreciate those professional photographs, and I have some from DecaFit I'll share with you too.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Because it just shows too that I think the other thing is different all different body types can be up there. I feel even in our group, we have a lot of different
Yeah.
body types who are still crushing it and doing awesome
Yeah.
and all that
And
stuff.
I think that's one of the things about both CG Games and DecaFit is you can have different strengths and still be competitive in the same event because
Yeah,
there's different aspects that will play to different strengths,
yeah.
right? So I might be really fast, be a little bit
Mhm.
slower on the ground to overhead burpees of the heavier weight,
Right.
whereas my direct competition might be faster on those burpees.
Mm,
So it's that balance. And so it's not just a straight sprint. It's not just, you know, Olympic weightlifting.
right.
It's diverse, and so there's a lot of different ways that you can be successful, which I think is also really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too. And your obstacle course time, I went and looked at that. Your obstacle course time was crazy. So, there's different events in CG Games, like you said, but the obstacle course, I think, is one of the most fun things. You're going over ropes, you're going over
Yeah.
walls, you're doing all the you've got the monkey bars and all kinds of fun stuff. Your time was like 8 minutes and what was it?
I think I was like 9:30,
Oh,
and
was it?
I was 2nd, though, in my age group. The woman who beat me by a minute and 10 seconds, which
Oh,
to me,
wow.
when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she crushed me." And then I saw a bunch of other times, and I was like, "Oh, I actually did really well on that." Like,
Yeah.
you just crushed me, but
Yeah.
so fun. I was
Yeah.
actually, like, bummed when it was over because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, it's over? That was so much fun."
I
So
know.
but I
Yeah.
mean, 4 years ago If you told me I was gonna be scaling a 9-foot wall, going up and over a cargo net, up and over a bunch of hurdles, crawling army crawl under another net, I would have been like, "I don't really? I don't know if I can do that." And then I didn't even hesitate, just didn't even think about it, just went and did all the
Right.
things, and it was awesome. So
Yeah. And yeah, the wall especially because you're a little shorter and just that wall
yeah.
is extra tall.
Yeah, it's intimidating, right? And so it's
Yeah.
you gotta the very first time I went over a 9-foot wall was at finals in 2019. Like, we
Wow.
didn't have an opportunity to practice, and it was just like,
Right.
"Okay, here it
Right.
is."
Right.
Yeah. Now we've found a place that does some obstacle course race training, and we could go practice there, which has been fantastic,
Yeah.
and they've shared their
So
knowledge with us.
right, and let's talk about how you prepare for these races. Obviously, there is the training and Camp Gladiator and gyms and things like that, but what other types of things have you done to prepare and train for these things?
I would say I've gotten more serious about it over time. Um, I would say in 2019, it was just whatever the group was doing. And we do a lot of weekend training on our own where we meet at the middle school. We go out on the turf field and set things up. And enough people in our group own a lot of the
Mhm.
equipment. And some of them are just willing, oh, there's a new piece of equipment. I'll buy that. And the trainers have been great about loaning us things. So we've had access to a lot of the equipment. Some of it we've had to be creative or modify. So just those group trainings, but then really focusing on my own strengths and weaknesses. So trying to get stronger since I am physically smaller than a lot of my competitors. I know that for me, a 33-pound Spartan Ram overhead is heavier than it's going to be for somebody who weighs 40 pounds more than me. Um, and that's fine. So I just try to get in the repetition and enhance my strength. This last summer was the first year I actually did join a gym in addition to doing CG in order to do more specific weightlifting in order to get stronger. CG is very oriented towards just dumbbells. And then if your trainer brings equipment,
Yeah.
which is great. And I have increased the weight of my dumbbells over time. But I found I think I want to be a little bit stronger. I want to put on some more muscle mass in order to make sure that I'm as strong as I can be going into that. I know that's going to be really taxing on my body. So this year was the first year that I put in that extra time in the gym specifically, and I feel like that actually really helped.
Yeah, so that's awesome, and I think, like you said, you don't have to start at this high level. You've obviously grown into it and decided you wanted to do more of it, so that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting because I never thought that I'm a very competitive person. Anyone who's ever played soccer with me would tell you that, but I didn't necessarily ever have an outlet to compete as an individual before.
Mm,
That's been really interesting to see for myself. Okay, when I'm the only one here, I'm the only one responsible for the outcome of what's going to happen here and my performance today. Like, how does that feel? And it definitely feels different. It's intimidating at some level. Um, I think that I should probably still have more confidence in myself. Like, I feel like I've been gaining confidence, but I also feel like I still have lots of doubts
mm,
since this whole it's only me and people
yeah,
are me. Whereas I'm so used to being part of a team environment. That's been
right.
really new for me.
Yeah, and what it's funny it's interesting that you say you've got doubts because 'cause you're from the start, you were on the podium
I know.
finishing early. So it's refreshing for people who, feel like they've got doubts and
Mm.
maybe that stops them. But what have been some of the other challenges or obstacles that you've had? I know you've got a family. You've obviously got a great career at the Denver Botanical Gardens as a botanist. I just found out about. But what have been other challenges? I don't think you've had a lot of injuries, but have there been other challenges with this
To
whole thing?
be honest, I've been really lucky that I haven't had a lot of challenges.
Mhm.
I would say initially it was the time and the commitment in order to put the time in for myself was a little bit of a challenge, and so that's why I made that wholesale shift from working out in the evening to then working out in the morning. And once I made that shift and had the support of my family in doing that, it's mostly been prioritizing. That's why I go so early in the morning, right?
Mhm.
Work out at 5 a.m. And when we
Yeah.
go on the weekends and we get together, we sometimes meet at 6:30 on a Saturday or
Mhm.
a Sunday morning so that we can still get our fill of what we need before we then
Mhm.
go spend the day with our family doing our other
Right.
obligations.
Right.
I time is probably my scarcest resource as it is for most people. I do commute from Lafayette down to Denver, so it's 25 miles each way, and I do come in almost every day. So I do spend quite a bit of time in the car, but then I've found myself listening to podcasts about health and nutrition and exercise, among other things. I've been
Yeah.
listening to your podcast. So I feel like otherwise I haven't had a lot of obstacles, which has actually been really nice. And I have not, knock on wood, had any major injuries either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that definitely is a challenge in training and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that starting later in life, do you think that's given you some advantages to doing this? And you were also
I mean,
competing
I
before.
think so in terms of I feel like in my 40s, I've been really exploring what is it that makes me happy and what fills my bucket. And as you mentioned, I have two kids. They're both teenagers. So one's in high school, one's in middle school. And part of it is you pour into your kids so much and so much time and energy. We were coaching their soccer, and it was sort of, we were fitting in our things as we could. Um, this is really one of the first times I've been prioritizing myself. I've been doing that intentionally at times of day that make it easier to prioritize myself. At this point, my family just roll their eyes at me when I'm like, I'm going to go work out at such and such time and place. They're like, ugh, whatever. Okay, have fun. And yeah, I feel like coming to competing as an individual and prioritizing myself where I am in my life now, um, A is new to me over the last 4 years, and B has really helped me grow as an individual, just in terms of like really thinking about what is it that I want and what makes me happy and what makes me tick and making better choices that are going to keep me happy longer than
Mhm,
just going with the flow and what other people are doing. I'm an introvert. I like my space. I like my time. And I'm like, okay,
mhm.
like this has helped me prioritize that a little bit more than I think I may have otherwise done.
I love that. I love that because, yeah, we do as parents, as moms, we put a lot of time and attention into our kids, and I think it's so important to have something that is for us
Mhm.
because it makes us better parents,
Yeah,
better
and
people.
well, I have more energy, I sleep
Mhm.
better, I feel better, can do all the things I wanna do,
Yeah.
and that's actually, I would say, an unexpected benefit in a lot of ways is that I've always been a fit person, eaten reasonably healthy, etcetera, but I now am at a point where I am fit and strong and have 0 thoughts or worries about, "Ooh, can I do that? Am I physically fit enough? Am I gonna be too tired? Can I walk that far?"
Yeah.
I just we go on vacation and I just do whatever. My parents live nearby and we still spend a lot of time with them. My parents are also both very active in their
Mm.
70s. Skiing with them, and my dad loves to hike when we go skiing. Let's hike to the top of blah blah blah. And I will now carry my mom's skis for her because it's easier for me to carry 2 sets of skis and for her to
Right.
just walk, and she still
Yeah.
wants to come, but it's hard for her to carry her skis. She's in her
Mhm.
70s. I'm like, "I got it." And it's great that I can do that now and just feel confident about that and just be like, "Yep, I can do all these things now that previously I would have been like, ooh, I'm not quite strong enough to carry my skis and my mom's skis. So then my
Yeah.
mom's not gonna come with us."
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, and I think being especially lifting weights and getting that extra strength training at this time of life is, like, so important. It's so
Yes.
important.
Yeah, it's all about bone density and
Mhm.
longevity. Your podcast is the Late Starters Club, and I was listening to the one about redefining midlife. I, like you, am thinking, I hope that I'm only halfway through my life, right? So
Yeah,
I got to take care of this body. Like, I don't
right.
want to be having a bum knee or not having the physical energy to walk up 2 flights of stairs when
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s, if I'm hoping I'm going to live into my 90s. Like,
Right.
I got a lot of life ahead of me, so I gotta make sure I can do all these things. So
Yeah,
that's actually a really big motivator too, just that looking towards the future and wanting to be healthy in my future. And like whenever I retire, I want to be able to go and do lots of stuff. And so I want to be physically fit when I get to that point. So
yeah.
I'm starting now. I'm continuing now so that I can still be there when I get to that point years
Yeah,
down the road.
right, right. Yeah, and it's inspiring even just doing this all in a group because you do see the people who like Mary, who won in her 60s, and she just flies by me. It's
She's
so,
amazing.
so amazing.
Yes, I
So
know. She
it's
tells me she wants to be like me when she grows up, and I'm like, "Mary, I wanna be like you. You are crushing it in your
I
60s.
know. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So
I
that's
agree.
that's so great. That's so great. This has been so awesome. I'd love to hear you said you've got 2 quotes or 2 things that inspire you, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear those things.
As you mentioned, I'm a pretty diligent person when it comes to training. I am very focused and, I have a quote that I think I picked up somewhere in college that's a little bit more of a stick kind of quote where it's somewhere out there, your competition is training harder than you and longer than you. And when you meet them head to head, you will lose. And I'm like, I want to make the percentage that I'm going to actually meet that person as minimal as possible. Like, I
Uh-huh.
want to be that person to my competition.
Uh-huh.
So I always believe in practicing harder than I play. So I put in tons of work. I do heavier sets, I do extra reps, I do longer distances in practice so that when it comes to the competition, that's it.
Uh,
Then you just have all your nerves and adrenaline and all that to
yeah,
deal with,
yeah.
which is scary enough that I want to feel confident in my body and like the challenge that's physically ahead of me when I get there. The other thing is act as if it's impossible to fail. And I can't remember who said that,
Yeah.
but last year before DECA Fit, before I competed, our friend Erin was not able to be there that day. She was out of town. And she gave each of us a little quote on a card, and that was the one that she gave me. And I had heard that before, and just receiving that from her and then reading it like on our way to the competition, act as if it's impossible to fail was like, yeah, like, no matter how I do, no matter where I
Mhm.
finish, I will not be failing because I'm here. I'm going to do it. But it's just like a nice inspirational, yeah, like just go forth and do it and have confidence. And no matter what the outcome is, it will be impossible to fail because you're going to do it.
'Cause you're already winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. That's awesome. Jenny, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to inspire people. And there'll be links here in the show notes for DecaFit, CG Games, the things we've talked about here, as well as some badass pictures of Jenny. You
Well, thank
just
you.
get a look at those guns, man. They are so good.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's thanks again. And just get out there and do it, people.
Yeah. Just no matter where you have to start, just start. Even if it's
Exactly.
with your yoga mat and your 8-pound weights, just show up. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks, Andrea, for having
Yeah.
me. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Hope that was helpful, and make sure you grab the free guide, Top Tools for Late Starters, on the website at latestartersclub.com. And let's turn dreaming into doing.